Nau mai, haere mai, e te whānau. Welcome to the Flight of the Next podcast. My name's Holly. I'm on Gadigal land in Sydney, as is Danny. Alex is in Te Whanganui, Aotearoa, Wellington, and in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, we have Erin. 3 games to chat about today. So we'll chat Ferns, next men, and next women. We will start with the Ferns, their second friendly against Costa Rica. That was on Wednesday, not the greatest time to watch the game, sort of the middle of the workday. A 1-0 win, and actually I think quite an even game. So basically at 89th minute, so real late in the game, Costa Rica, they play the ball straight out of play. Liz Anton with a quick throw to Macy Fraser. Macy is sort of stuck quite wide. There were 2 players defending her, and there was a 3rd player behind them ready to get her. Macy being Macy, dances her way around, picks a pass straight to Maya Hahn. Beautiful little finish, curls into the far post. Really, really good to see and to get that win. So I think it was a lot more even. Essen didn't have to make all those crazy saves. She still made some good saves, but was not called upon as much. I thought Bunge was good. Bunge was really good. And in terms of the whole series, so Flea played most of the game and was captain, which was good. Elliot got a cap for a short while in the first match. Mac got no game time, which I think is a pity. And Jale was injured and is still out for us for a couple of weeks. Danny, what do you think?
I thought it was quite a good game. Again, it was 2 very even sides, as we saw in the first game, which finished the draw. And this game could easily have been a draw, and probably that would have been the fairest result, I think. But having said that, I think we probably deserved it just slightly, just in terms of attacking intent. We looked to be going forward quite a lot, although we weren't necessarily particularly effective when we went forward. I thought certainly in the first half we were getting the ball forward quite a lot. Millie Clay got the ball up front there, but we didn't seem to really have very good combinations when we were getting up there. It was like, get the ball up there, and then, okay, now what do I do? Rather than going, okay, I've got a ball in this position, therefore there's going to be someone to my left or behind me or to my right. So I think that let us down a little bit. Clegg had a lot of the ball up front by herself, but wasn't really able to do that much with it, so we didn't have any clear chances there. Defensively, we seem to have improved slightly on maybe the first game. Costa Rica is still fast and good at passing, but we seem to stop too many of those real clear through balls or clear runs on goals that we saw in the first game. And when we made the changes up and Hahn came on and Fraser came on, that was sort of the little bit of quality that made the difference. Fraser was excellent, and the pass through to Hahn was and a great shot to go in the goals. I think we probably deserved it just in the end. It'll be, I think, overall, over the 2 games, we've used a lot of new players, I think, and that's just going to be good. As I say, I still don't think they look particularly good as a team yet. I think there's still some work to be done there, but certainly this will help. And I guess this is the future of the Ferns, right? I know the people saying a lot of the experienced players aren't in there, and I get that, but we've got to give these new players some time to come in there and start being able to be a team together. So I think there's probably a useful couple of games in the end. Costa Rica are a decent side around our level, so to win that, I think that'll be good for morale. And quite a few players got a good run out.
If any of my colleagues are watching this, no, I didn't watch the game. I was working, but other than that, I caught kind of the end of it, which just happened to be the goal as well. But I think the bits that I saw, we were looking quite different to how we used to be, and it was actually quite exciting to see some new players get out there and do some new things. Macy Fraser did really well on her assist. It kind of beat 2 players and then put almost the perfect cutback ball, and then Maya Hahn, who thankfully she's picked us over Germany, and it's incredible that we got her, but that was an incredible strike at such a crucial time of the game, so it's good to see. But yeah, getting a win against a non-OFC team is always good for the Ferns, and it's one of our more successful friendly series that we've had in, I don't know, probably my whole lifetime, to be honest. I don't think we've ever really been too great at away games, all the travel and just getting players together for the first time in in months who, probably even haven't met each other yet. So it's always good to get a win. 2 games, didn't lose, which is, better than our neighbours. So go the Ferns.
Yeah, I think it was a really productive window for us. In the past, we've just looked completely dysfunctional, and we didn't look that this window. At least we looked significantly better. I don't know what you can put it down to. Maybe it's the change of coach. Maybe it's change of players. Some of the more experienced players drop out, make room for the new blood. But I think the Ferns are definitely heading in the right direction, and I think we got China up next, so they should be. I think we can totally build on this window and, look to get results against them.
It's a Chinese Taipei, otherwise known as Taiwan. 2 matches maybe it's only 1 match. It's away in Taiwan, 8th of April 2025. So they're FIFA ranked 42. It should be a reasonable game. Australia played Chinese Taipei in a series, very not like the last window, I think it was, and won very comfortably with some very new caps and stuff like that. Not that they're a pushover, but it'll be good to have, because we miss windows as Ferns fans. Like there are entire windows that we miss. The last window we did not play any Ferns games, so it's good to see stuff coming up. Any more comments on the Ferns?
I think the standout player for me was probably India Paige Riley. I haven't seen her play really since she left the A-League, and she's improved, seems to have improved a hell of a lot. Just the energy she had, and just the positivity of getting the ball and just constantly trying to get it forward. I was just really impressed with her. She's gone overseas and she's obviously learned a lot, very much improved. She could well be in that team for quite a long time. So yeah, I was really, really impressed by her.
Yeah, it's good to see a player go over to the WSL and get actual game time. I think sometimes players kind of get lost in that system, and they're in the trainings and they're learning from that way, but they just don't have the game time to kind of stay match fit. But she gets pretty good game time at Crystal Palace, and so I think it's kind of paying off for her coming in and then looking pretty sharp for the Ferns. Also glad she picked New Zealand over Australia. Keep coming to New Zealand.
All right, let us move on to the men who had the next men, that is, who had a better game on Friday night at Sky Stadium. Better is a low bar to be reaching after the thrashing we got the week before. Anyway, 1-0 loss. Marco Telio, Ritchie turns over the ball. Let's see, this is in the 51st minute. Ritchie turns over the ball. He didn't have a very good game, to be fair. Kuhn gets his foot on it, and he's an excellent player. Passes it all the way across the top of the box. Matt Leckie lets it go, and Marco Telio totally unmarked. Slots it into the back of the net. Not great to turn it over, not great to not have Telio marked. Otherwise, I think it was good to have Roofs starting, Suts starting. I think the Yellow Fever were excellent, especially considering how last week went, that they showed up and there was a lot of noise. There was a good chance in the 68th minute, two. Luke Brooks-Smith with a chance, Piper with a point blank header that I don't know how Beach saved that. It was incredible. 93rd minute, City almost doubled their lead with an own goal of Hughes. Long just dribbles through and cuts it across. It goes in off Hughes, but he was offside. So an XG of 0.38 to 1.39, possession 40-60, not that surprising really. It says that we had 0 shots on target in the stats, but that can't be true because Piper put up an on-target shot. So that was really a 6-pointer. That was better than last week, but too little too late. I think our finals are done and we're playing for pride now.
Yeah, it's kind of just same old that we've seen all season. I think, it's kind of hard to, when you watch the team, it's hard to point at a specific area and go, that's the problem there. It's kind of just like an overall thing. But I think within the midfield and the way we play at the back, I don't think actually our defensive line are doing anything wrong. I think they just aren't really options for them to play to. And you speak about Ritchie not having the best game. He's been so hot and cold this season. I actually thought he was going to be one of our better players. coming into the season, but he just hasn't shown the levels that have been required. It's kind of been like a couple seasons ago when at one point we had Zavada in form, then another point we had Kraev in form, and then another point we had Sasi in form, but never at the same time. And kind of with different aspects of the team, except it's been the whole team in form or the whole team not in form, and we can't really keep it consistently going. I think we've just got to look towards next season and build the youngsters and kind of build a framework for next season. I'm hoping Chief stays around.
I mean, you say it wasn't as bad as the Auckland game, but I actually feel worse after this game than I did after the Auckland game. Maybe, again, I was in denial, but I was treating the Auckland game as a blip. I thought they were just a weird one-off where we let 6 goals in because defensively we're not that bad. And we also showed that potentially we had a way to actually score goals during the Auckland game with Heraldez and Rojas and Rufa coming back, and we looked like we had a way to attack, which we hadn't shown since Rufa got injured, basically. We went back Chief went back to basics and sort of rebuilt our defence. And so I thought this game we're going to come in, we've got a way to go. We've got some solutions there coming for in. This is the chance to start, what could be a run to the finals. It'd have to be a very good run. We needed to win something like 3/4 of our games, but if it was going to happen, it was going to happen here. And it didn't. We went back to our defensive block with 2 lines of 4, and whereas before we had solid defence with Barbarouses incredibly isolated up front, now we had defensive block with Barbarouses and Chico incredibly isolated up front. But apart from that, there was no difference whatsoever this game against the game against Victory or the game against the previous game. So we would have the ball, we'd play it out from the back, it would get to midfield, it'd get stuck, it'd go back, and it just would never get to the front. And when it did, they were so isolated that they had too many players. It was really disappointing. I was really disappointed in this game, so much more than I was against Auckland. Again, okay, I had 6 times when I was very disappointed in the Auckland game, but at least we looked like we could build on something, whereas here it's like, well, if this is how we're going to play, we're definitely not going to make finals, and we're going to be lucky to win any games, if not score any goals, which, considering we now have the players who can potentially do that, is really disappointing. And I struggle to work out. I can understand from Chivi's point of view, you've got to make a statement when you let goals, and you've got to come back and you've got to be tight at the back. I sort of understand that, otherwise you'd get slaughtered. But also, we had to win this game. If we're going to make anything out of the season, this is the game we have to win. It's a home game, the first one afterwards, so we needed to push something going forward, and we just didn't. And the team that was put out there was very strange. Sheridan in midfield, centre-left midfield, when he's a right-sided player, and he's not really a midfielder. He hasn't played in his professional career much in midfield. When we've got Nagasawa on the bench, I just could not understand that at all. And Nagasawa, we've seen, is much better at connecting midfield with attack, whether he's pushing forward or staying back. Again, Walker on the left. Look, he's young, but I don't think he's ready for this level. I don't think he's shown enough that he should be starting a game. I'm not sure we've got someone else instead, but at least Brooke Smith can make something happen, possibly. And as you say, Retre was very poor. For a senior player, we need more from him. And Tim Payne basically hasn't played very well since he got his injury. Even before he was out, he was slightly injured, and he hasn't played very well, and he had a terrible game, I thought. And something like 60% of Melbourne's attacks came down that side, Retre's and Payne's attack side, where you think, really, they should have been coming down Walker's and Sutton's side, because those are young players, right? But no, they attacked down Retre and Payne and got quite a lot of joy out of it. So, yes, we only let 1 goal in, and they didn't have much of a chance because we know we can defend when we put people back there, but we had 5 attempts on goal, and that was it. And considering we've got Chico, who, is obviously a very talented player, we've got Rojas, who with potential to come on for some time, we had Rufa back, that's just not good enough. And it's just I just found it really disappointing that we didn't make more of an effort to go forward, even if that would have left us more open at the back. Because, we can lose as many 1-0 games or win a few 1-0 games and draw a few games before the end of the season, but that's not going to get us into finals. We needed to win like 7 out of 10 games or something, or 6 out of 10 games. And if we play like that, we have no chance of doing it. We won't finish bottom, and we won't let many goals in, but we will never get there. So I found it very disappointing. And as you say, I think, that's our season over in terms of making finals. All we can do now is, try and develop players for next season and, maybe give the fans something to smile about, because there wasn't much to smile about.
What you want to see coming back from a heavy loss? I agree with Retro. I thought that he was just a massive weak link for us. Like, I don't even think he was a passenger on the field. He didn't even get on the bloody bus. He was still sitting at the bus stop. And I think that we should just kind of keep him there in timeout until he's learned how to actually try to win the ball or try to do something. He's just frustrated me for a player who should be better, should be, used to this league, but put someone else there instead who, give someone else a chance if he's not going to be doing the job that he needs to. Thankfully, the second goal was disallowed. I feel like just another own goal would just kind of rule my life even more. We don't need that kind of thing happening, because then it just puts more, pressure on our young defenders to, be better, even though, there's nothing really much they could do with that one. But yeah, we could have got another goal. I don't know how Beach managed to save that shot, an absolute bullet of a header from that close range. He probably didn't even know it was there. He just, I think, flailed his arms and managed to get something on it, which he couldn't manage to do in a lot of the other games that I've watched him play, but somehow he managed to pull this spectacular save out of nowhere. But yeah, hopefully we just get something from the last few games and play better football. I don't really know what else to expect from this season, but hopefully we play well enough that kind of Chico wants to come back the next season, because I quite like him, and I know you're not supposed to fall in love with a lone player, but oops, he's come at the right time to kind of give a little bit of something special to the team, but unfortunately we're not really performing to kind of make him stand out as much as he should.
One thing I want to talk about is VAR and how they're supposed to announce the decisions over the loudspeaker. They've talked so much about it, about being transparent with the fans. We can't hear them in the stadium. They talk, we've got nothing. Like, it's been the last 2-3 games at Sky Stadium, there's been nothing. And I think one time, they were cutting out. This game, we just couldn't hear them at all. And it's also the language that they use. They're like something about contact and then drop ball if they're disallowing goal. Like, a majority of the fans don't actually care if it's a drop ball. They want to know if it's a goal or not a goal. And imagine for, like a fan who it's their first game of football and they hear drop ball. What does that mean? They need to say disallowed goal or something like that. I just don't really get I understand the premise with announcing it over the loudspeaker, but it's the execution at the moment is horrible. Sorry, just where we're at.
I think what I'd like to see again from the rest of the season is some reasons to smile. I just, in that game watching it, I smiled maybe 3 or 4 times, and they were either when Chico did a back heel, and I don't just a beautiful back heel which goes through the Barbarousas, and you just smile because you love football and that's great football, right? Or when Luke Brooks-Smith, just gets a ball and just barrels past a couple of people, and that's good. But so unless you're a real fan of defensive formations, there's not much of a reason. We haven't had many other reasons to smile, because that's what you look for as a football fan. Maybe when Rojas was charging up the pitch and there's a bit of space and you think a bit of excitement. That's what I'd like to see for the rest of the season. If we're not going to make finals, at least let me enjoy some of the matches, and and have those sort of players on, so the fans can enjoy a bit of that. And even if we get beat 2-1, okay, we get beat 2-1, it doesn't matter. We're not making finals anyway, so. I think to get the fans back on side, to give them a bit more excitement for next year, maybe let's use some of those exciting players and play them to their strengths. I mean, we had Chico on there, and again, he had, apart from Barbarousas ahead of him, he had no one to play off. Chico's not the kind of player who holds up a ball. He does a quick flick around the corner, which yes can be annoying, and when it doesn't come off. But we didn't have the players around him or anywhere near him to take advantage of that. If we had a Shiga up there or Nagasaya up there, then maybe or Rojas, they could have done something. But instead we had, after 60 minutes, a Tim Payne who was so knackered he couldn't even play at right back. So somehow we put him up on right wing. I found that a very strange decision. And he's not going to better play off Chico either. So again, that wasn't working. But if we put the right players around him, we might get some entertaining football happening up there. It may not be effective. We may still lose, but at least we might get a few smiles out of it.
Yeah, I smiled when Chiefy absolutely threw, I think it was a drink bottle or a clipboard, just straight into the ground when we misplaced a pass, because I feel like that's how everyone was feeling by watching us constantly just lose the ball. But you can see him straight on the camera, just whatever is in his hand goes launching across the field. It's funny.
I mean, that's what we resorted to, launching, really. When we get stuck, we launch it centrally up the field. Who's there? Costa, he'll do his best, but he's not gonna win a ball in the air. So basically we're doing it and then hoping that we get on the seconds. But if we're sitting in such a low block, by the time that seconds come, because the opposing defender has headed it, I mean, we're not there in a position really to take advantage of that. So, yeah, not great. Our next game is versus Western United. That is in Tarneet, Saturday, 8th of March, 8 p.m. New Zealand time. Picnics will be there. So if you're in the stadium, go and sit with them. They'll have a good time. As I mentioned earlier, we're playing for pride at this point. So I would like to see a fighting performance. I know that we've won out there. I think Ben Old scored a goal one of the matches that we won out there. Might not have been last season. Could have been the season before. I'm not sure. Any other thoughts on the men and Western United?
Yeah, I think it's reached the stage of the season where I stop basing my prediction off of facts and I just start kind of hoping. So I'm kind of hoping for a win, as always. I think if we get Rojas on the pitch, he can impact our play positively. I've lost all hope for this season, but we need to set the groundwork for next season. And like you said, get the fans kind of involved in it a bit more. So, let's do this. Hopefully we can see something more.
Yeah, look, Western United score a lot of goals. They're just good at scoring goals. I don't think setting up as just trying to defend and nick a 1-0 win or a 0-0 draw is going to work, because they will score against us. Realistically, if we want to get anything out of this game, we're going to have to attack, and that's what I want them to do, just because, again, that's what we want to see. We haven't seen a really good goal for a long time. So I'm hoping we'll go out there with an attacking mindset and a bit more open mindset. Have confidence in that, because that's not the way we played so far. But, fingers crossed. Maybe it'll happen.
It's at that point in the season now that if we win, then we also help Auckland win the league. So it's a bit of a lose-lose situation almost there. But yeah, we need to just get some good results to just kind of end the season on a high. But yeah, Western United are a good team, and they can score goals, and so I think that it'll be a hard match for us, especially away from home. But hopefully we can at least get a goal or something, get a smile.
All right, let's move to the women. So they played yesterday at Porirua Park versus Adelaide, who have, as we've discussed, improved a lot over their last season where they were really poor. We had a 3-1 loss. Player of the match was Carolina Villau. She had 11 saves, including a penalty save, which was fantastic. Adelaide started out really early, 4th minute. Ella Tonkin header from the corner. It's at point blank range for Carolina, so I think that's a little bit hard to try and stop. Seems like maybe Zoe had lost her player there. In the 41st minute, we did feel a lot more hopeful because we got a goal and it was Fergie, so she's pounced and been clinical. Miss-hit Adelaide pass. She nips in and lobs it over Jenkins, so that was excellent, and it felt a lot more even at that point. 55th minute, Leon gets a goal. She just lobs Carolina Villar with this high looping strike. The penalty was in, I think, the 81st minute. So I don't understand why it took so long to decide that this was a penalty. There's no VAR. I think upon looking at the video, Jaber's foot does make disconnect to her face. Like it's a penalty. I just don't understand why it took so long for them to decide it was a penalty. Villau was showing them more of one side of the goal, with all these mind games and saved it. Amazing. Villar was incredible. 86th minute, it all sort of, the hope went out of it when Leon scored another goal. It dropped to her during a corner. Our set piece defending was atrocious. Yeah, I think we were pretty dominated, which was disappointing. Touches in opposition box, 8 to 34. Shots, 6 to 31. On target, 2 to 14. XG, 0.67 to 3.88. The good things were Zoe was captain. Alyssa Wynnham was back. Main Train got a start, but other than that, I just think we got crowded out. I think Maya wasn't herself, so we didn't have that physicality in the midfield, especially because Jelly was gone. Alex, you were there?
Yeah, I think crowded out is kind of the perfect, word for this game. I think we suffered from the post-international break blues. We just looked, like we were a woman short pretty much the whole game. I think Villar was awesome. She was our player of the match. I didn't actually realise how many saves she made while watching it at the ground, because some of them were just the slightest little touches and then it would go off the crossbar. I think she's been really good all season. Second half we were playing into the wind, which definitely didn't help us, and it was a shame we didn't use that to our advantage in the first half. The penalty, I kind of agree with you. It's definitely a penalty, but why did the ref award it? Because the player was clutching her face in the box. I don't think you can say play on. Like, we made it pretty much halfway up the field, and then the ref was like, "Oh, it's a face head-ish. We got to stop the game." And we had some momentum there. We might have done something with that attack. And then she's gone and given a penalty. You can't do that. We don't have VAR. You go with your original decision. You can't base a decision off of someone's injury. That just sets standards that you can't keep up for the rest of the season. But Villar saved it. We lost 3-1. We can't really complain. The goals we conceded were a bit lucky. The shot cross-ish thing from Leon, and the 2 goals from the corners. I think if we tighten up on things like that, and we also have to tighten up on our midfield. It'll be great if we get Jale back. When we get Jale back, I thought Emma Main actually played well with Olivia Ferguson. I think Temps was listening to the Flight of the Next podcast with that, and she had some nice runs in behind and kind of stretched the defense really nicely, and it kind of brought Ferguson into the play a bit more. And the finish from Ferguson was amazing.
It was. I was sort of thinking about whether we lost because we played poorly or because Adelaide played well, and I think it's basics. Adelaide played well. I think we were just beaten by a better side, and they dominated it in midfield and stopped the players who can create something. Wynnham and Flea, Longo, just really stopped them having really much input into the game. We started with that back 5, which didn't seem to work, and I think that definitely did inhibit sort of Flea being able to give her a free roll and getting her, buzzing around where she normally does. She was made to stay sort of there in midfield, so we changed it at half time, but we still didn't manage to really get out at all. So it was sort of disappointing. Our midfield seemed quiet, but I think they were just dealing with decent players coming at them in numbers and quite quickly. Villar was very good. She had a lot of saves made. She saved them all pretty much. I think that she needed to save, except maybe on the second attempt on a couple of occasions. But there we are. Ferguson again looked like the striker I think we wanted her to be when she started. Certainly, that goal. Her goal was, a proper striker's goal, on the press, getting the ball, looking up, seeing the keeper. Great finish. I guess that's what we've been wanting to see from her all season, and we sort of hadn't seen it. So it's nice to know she can do it. It'd be nice that she could do it. And maybe if we start with the MMA and Ferguson up top, maybe that's something that we can see a bit more of. We looked pretty good in the first half when we were pressing. It seemed to be quite a productive way for us. We were either forcing mistakes from them or even getting the ball. And yet in the second half, that seemed to fall away a bit more. I'm not sure why. Maybe we had a bit more possession in the second half, so we were a bit more knackered. So, we were sort of resting a little bit. But sort of felt if we kept up with that sort of high press, then maybe we would have got a little bit more out of it. But realistically, I mean, if you look at the number of corners they had, the amount of pressure they put on our goal, we were going to struggle to score enough goals to get back at them. So disappointing, because I thought we were a kind of team that could stand up to the better teams in this league, but it looks like we've still got a bit of a way to go. But plenty of home games left, plenty of games to play, a lot more points to pick up.
Yeah, I think Adelaide are probably the best team in the league, the most well-rounded. I think Claudia Jenkins in goal is a very good goalkeeper, and overall their team is pretty solid, and I feel like they don't really make mistakes like a lot of the other teams do. So it's disappointing to get the loss, but I think that the fact that it was only 3-1 and Villau pulled off some crazy saves and kept us in there is a good testament. And I think Mac Barry as well played quite well. I think she's been a bit up and down this season. I feel like there's some matches where she hasn't quite gotten into it, but this one I think that she was doing really well to stop the attacks, which is good. But I think we were kind of struggling a lot to create chances, and I think with Jale out, that's a massive loss for us. She is a bit of a playmaker for us. We had Emma Main and Fergie on, which was good for the press. It's good and high energy, and we were winning it a lot. But I think we didn't really have the play out wide like we usually do and getting the crosses in. I think this game we had far fewer crosses than we have with a lot of the other games, and we just couldn't really do much with it. And I think our best options were just Carolina Villau on a punt from her hand, just smacking it down the field, and us just taking, gambling with it and trying to win. And we almost had 2 or 3 good chances from that. So, Villau was our best attacker and our best defender. So she, deserved that player of the match. But yeah, I think tidying up the set piece defending, we have conceded, a few goals from corners. Some of them is just from Villau maybe not being tall enough or strong enough to grab it. But, we lost points against Brisbane for that, which could come back and bite us. So I think we really just need to focus on clearing the ball and getting it out of there. We have pretty tall players in there. We should be winning headers. We should be first to the ball. And I think that that's something that they really need to focus on, as well as the finishing. I guess the finishing was good. Getting Fergie to have an actual convincing goal without falling over. I think she also listens to the Flight of the Next podcast. But really good to see her get a goal like that. To have the vision to look up and just take that shot. If Claudia touched it at all, she'd be off for a handball. So good finish. Good vibes going into halftime. But yeah, I think Adelaide used our wind to their advantage and managed to come away with that. So, overall, I didn't think that was too bad of a performance against a very good team. But now we just basically need to win from now on to make it into the finals.
I mean, we still do have, that's one of our home games that we would have hoped to have won. But the rest of the games are at home or sort of with the little corner of yellow where there'll be people showing up. The middle of the table is quite congested. We are still 4 points off 6th. There were definitely some fixtures that were helpful for us on the weekend. Sydney beat Raw, Victory beat Western, Canberra only got a draw out of City, Western Sydney Wanderers beat Central Coast Mariners, so we were actually helped quite a lot by the other results. So, yeah, we do need to not leave it in the hands of these other teams to get the results that we need, just so we can sneak in. We do need to win. So our next match is against Wanderers, who will probably be quite happy to play us at the moment, coming off a real confidence-boosting win against Mariners and the fact that we didn't win yesterday against Adelaide. So that is Wanderers at Porirua Park, Sunday, 9th of March, 4 p.m. Any thoughts on where our women are at, how we'll do against Wanderers, or the game that we just had?
Yeah, they've turned around their season, man. 3 wins in a row after, I'm looking at their previous results, I think it was like 6 or 7 losses in a row. It's up to us to stop them. They're kind of coming up behind us on the table. We need a win. We're at home. I think if I had to predict, I'd say we win. The strength of Porirua Park kind of sees us over the line, but with how the Wanderers are playing at the moment, I can quite easily see them making it difficult for us.
Yeah, Wanderers are the team we completely bossed when we played them at their place, and probably our best performance of the season. So you look at that and you think, yeah, play them at home, we'll take them. But as you say, they're very much on form, and we're without Jale, and it doesn't look like we've worked out how to replace her yet. If she's still injured and she's still out, then we've got to work out how we get that solidity in midfield that she covers almost one side of the pitch, stop people going down that side of the pitch, and also creates chances down that side as well. So that's a bit of a puzzle for Temple to do. I still think we should have enough in us to beat them because it's at home. But it won't be as easy as probably we may have looked at it a couple of weeks ago and gone, oh yeah, that's 3 points. Cool, tick that off. But I still think we've got it in there. I'm hoping for one.
Yeah, it depends which version of Western Sydney Wanderers we get, I think. I do remember last time we played Western Sydney at home, we played an incredible game. I think that they had to win to make finals, and we just came along and just spoiled their party. With just for pride, really. It was Pride Round actually, but yeah, we had nothing to gain from it except for just the vibes of it, and we came out, and I think it was Maine got a brace in that game. Maine got a brace in the game with a diving header, I think was one of them, and so we really spoiled their party, and they were not happy with us. And so I'm really hoping that we can bring that back and do that again, as well as what we did to them in the first game, and get a win from that, because this is one that's quite important, and Western Sydney are chasing us. They're not too far behind us now. They've really stepped up, and so we want to finish as high as we can in the finals. But these are the games that we have to win. There's no beating around it. We've got to win their home games, and then not rely on other teams winning or losing. And I don't want it to come down to the last round either, because I don't think that I could deal with that stress. So hopefully it's a win, and I want to win, so I reckon we'll get one.
Well, thank you for joining us. As always, if you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing, like, comment. We are also available on Spotify and podcast platforms if you are looking to just listen to us instead of watch and see our terrible, terrible faces. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Mā te wā.